Hello there, welcome back to the Technology Innovation Hub. So it's going to be the 33rd session on the Oracle architectural journey on the checkpoint explanation. We have done 5 sessions almost on checkpoint explanation because it's a bit critical explanation. That's why I have split the explanations across 5 sessions, and we have been explaining these checkpoint categories. So with this session, let's try to complete the checkpoint explanation for Oracle database architectural journey. So let's see the last category. Now we have discussed global checkpoints, log switch checkpoints, incremental checkpoints, and the last category is partial checkpoints. Now, as the word suggests, you can see partial. Partial means it affects partly for a particular segment of the database. Now we have understood in very briefly, still we haven't done the storage structures under Oracle explanations. We are focusing on the architecture, but we know the concept of table spaces, which comes under storage hierarchy, logical hierarchy, and the physical hierarchy. Under logical hierarchy, we know collection of blocks will make up the extents, collection of extents will make up the segment, collection of segments will make up the table spaces, and finally collection of table spaces will make up the whole database. Now that means a table space will represent a bigger portion of the database. Collection of table spaces is going to be the database because it's a way of logically organizing the physical storage. Now physical storage, we have mainly 3 components: control file, DBF file, and log files. For minimum, we have to have at least 1 DBF file for a table space to survive. 1 or many DBF file, more the DBF file for a table space, larger the table space. Now why I told this, because partial checkpoint has a direct relationship for a table space. Not only table space, even tables. Now for example, let's say when you make it read-only, let's say you're going to say all table space read-only command. What will happen? Oracle will do a partial checkpoint. Partial checkpoint means the relevant data for that given table space. Let's say you are going to try out this command. Okay, let's switch to the practical environment. Users table space. If I just run this command, alter table space users read only this command. And what will happen? This will cause a partial checkpoint on the background. Similarly, if I run this command again, not off read only, if I just run offline command, again there will be a partial checkpoint, offline command. Offline we have categories, normal, immediate, likewise, but any of the offline commands will cause a partial checkpoint. The reason is whether you do read only will allow the select queries, but the relevant portion of the data which is located currently in the database buffer cache is not becomes, once it becomes read only, you can't update those things. So there is no point blocking the records in the buffer cache. So that's why it's going to temporarily flush those things to the relevant data files which belongs to that table space till it becomes read-write. Offline also same. Offline means even you can read the data in the buffer cache. There is no point blocking the buffer cache from the data from users table space. So that's why it is flushing. So flushing means it does a checkpoint temporarily clearing the data to the relevant data files within that table space. So mainly that's what going to happen. And even if you drop a table, same thing, because once you drop a table, there is no point holding data belongs to that table in the database buffer cache. So it will flush it. So that's why a checkpoint takes place. We know when a checkpoint takes place, it's going to flush the data. But it's like this, the name, why we have given a different name called partial, because this is going to update the data file header part as well as control file, both. It's going to update the data file header part as well as the control file, both when a partial checkpoint takes place. So that is a partial checkpoint. Even in the documentation, you have the explanation. You can see that this is the document that we have in different right to the explanation, documentation, 19C. Table space and data file checkpoint, you can see they are using that category, that's okay. The database writes to this all buffers modified by redo before a specific target. A table space checkpoint is a set of data file checkpoints, one for each data file in the table space. These checkpoints occur in a variety of situations, including making table space read-only, taking offline, like shrinking. Yeah, there are other conditions. So I just gave only 2 to 3 conditions. So that is known as the partial checkpoint, which is happening to the selected area for the database. That is fine. Great. Now I think with that explanation, I think we can conclude this checkpoint explanation. Yeah, so you can refer to the documents, and even in the channel at the initial point we have explained a theoretical part as well. Graphically we just gave the what is a checkpoint and a detailed explanation about checkpoint, and we went through the practical sessions as well. So again, you can revise those things because it is very critical. Checkpoint is very critical to understand database, behavior of the database, architectural, and because even for tuning it relates everywhere. So that's why I just explained over 6 sessions. I'll meet you soon in the next session. So next session is going to be the database buffer cache deep dive and architectural journey. Great. Have a great time. I'll meet you soon with that session. Bye bye.